So I said, no, I I cannot I cannot just stay back and especially within this 21st century, looking at a young man like that who has developed a kind of a perspective in business, and it's like something that is really breaking down. And I know there are different categories of people, of teachers. The one that gives you the theoretical part of it, and you don't see the fact you don't see it being materialized in his or life. Like a teacher teaching about economics, and you can find a kind of a business he is using to prove to the world that his principles are really economic principles are really workable. So, but he is that kind of a person, an entrepreneur also, and I saw it live with him. That's what motivated me. I said, no, um, I need to be part and parcel of this particular program. And so, as he said, I'm Reverend Ringo Justin, the parish pastor of Presbyterian Church here, Creedy. So I've been following up with the program. I think this is over 3 weeks now, and I'm so passionate about it. And I think I've just been troubling the professor to say, okay, yeah, this is where I have doubts if we could clarify me. So when he told me there's another platform where students they meet and they try to share ideas on their fields and how far they're going to inspire one another, I said, okay, really needs to be part and parcel of it. For quite some time, I've really been so mobile, but this time around, at least I have tried to reschedule my activities and said every time we are meeting, I'll do well to be present, and that is why I'm here today. So I'm very glad to meet my fellow brothers and sisters who are part and parcel of this program, and so it is an honor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Reverend, for that introduction about yourself, and I think that we understand you well, even though we haven't seen your face. I know you, but maybe the others haven't seen your face. If possible, for you to share your camera, it will be fine, so that it shouldn't be as if we are talking to an AI.
Okay. So let me see. Let me share my camera.
Good. So we can clearly see the Reverend. Okay, so yeah, so we have a couple of discussions in choosing the market and all that. So just to ask before we move to the others introducing themselves, as you started watching the program, what has been your impression? Are there some specific aspects that um, were intriguing? Are there some thoughts that you want to share? So what have been the most I would call the epiphany moments in so far as you've gone through module 1 to 2? I learned you're currently in module 3.
Yeah, I think so far so good. I don't know. It's like the more one delves into these modules, it's like it exposes this my ignorance. So it's like the more I get into it, the more I know nothing, the more I'm learning something very new under the this sky in the universe. So I think the most intriguing moment is like I think when I began with the studies, I was like, this kind of knowledge, where are we taking this knowledge to? I'm just getting some high sounding kind of business terms here, and I'm struggling to understand. And I realized that it's in the course of it when I got to the G2P, modeling template, where we have to, it's like a laboratory where you need to put everything assemble everything together and see how it works. I became so exciting about it. Like, okay, wow. So all of these things I've been struggling to grapple with, not being able to catch this one really well. So this is how it works now. And I was like, from the initial point of it, I was like, ha, Professor is bringing me into this matter like this. Are you sure it will not be more than me? But at some point, getting to G2P modeling template where um, he customized it in a way that I myself, I thought that probably he'll be the one doing everything and just submitting and say, okay, this is how far it goes. But he brings us a practical work where we are now converting the theoretical part of it from module one, and then to module two. And so, yeah, so I've been seeing myself like I'm more like that kind of young maybe a really a science entrepreneur who works from the theoretical and then to the practical, the laboratory part of it. And this is what makes me now very excited. I couldn't withhold it. The more reason I just had to dive into module three because I was like, I cannot just study and move on. So yeah, it's quite very much interesting. I think the G2P foundational template has inspired me a lot, um, and then also looking at the sales letter, also the architect of the architectural work and all of that, and all the dynamics, in it. I realized that this one is building on this other one, so the foundational, modeling template is like it's complementing. There are some certain technical areas that, as you go up, that's when, because at some point when I got to the foundational, modeling template, I was like, okay, this kind of information, we talk about the YouTube link and all of that, how is it really going to come about now? I thought it was like something you need to just fill it automatically and then you submit it and say, oh, wow, I'm done with my assignment. But the way this matter is, it's not that kind of thing that you can just play around and then you submit everything. At the end of the day, you get a mark and you go home with 100% with and nothing to show for. So, but I think that it's quite impressive, and I'm really so excited about it. And it's like a kind of a high point, an optimum point within this knowledge. I mean, this educational journey. So I think in a nutshell, the P2P foundational modeling template, I think that is the highest point wherein, I mean, everything has really come to life. I really believe that truly this thing is real. And I can also do it as far as I have the zeal and the passion to do that. So that's it. So that is it.
Okay, so thank you very much, Reverend. I think the foundation. I think it has also been same for Giadem. Giadem said when she started, like she was having a lot of knowledge, and but as she progressed, she started seeing how everything is actually fitting together and placing things and all that, and it became more evident as she started working with her first. Yeah, so the foundational copy is actually just like how the name implies, is where we gather the raw materials, like to start building the house. So after we've understood the mission, now we start to put together the raw materials. And the reason why I always tell students that we have to have a meeting after the foundation, a little bit before and after the foundational copy, because if you don't get the building blocks right, then every other thing that continues is gonna have a problem because they are all interrelated. So that's fine. So it's a privilege having you here. I was especially privileged to have a clergy in the program, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to all of us, and because and I really admire your humility. I really admire your humility to join the program, and I see the a thirst for success. I see the thirst for greatness, specifically because we feel that I mean, a clergy understanding such a program, it can have a lot of impact because it's going to pass it over to his Christians. It's going to change the way he talks. Let me share a video I was watching yesterday with the Reverend Joshua Selman, and he was saying that sometimes successful people, they run away from church because when they get to church, they are trailed by the ignorance of some of the men of God. Sometimes the men of God, they are talking so ignorantly, and then you see the way somebody who is recruiting 500 people, he's just looking at a man of God talking so ignorantly, and he's just wondering what these people are doing, and that's why they disappear them from church. They don't want to come back from church again. Like sometimes we are praying for people to actually get jobs, and where are the jobs going to come from? Because like if everyone were praying for people to get jobs, where are the jobs actually going to come from? We need to have the real systems. We need to combine religion and practical frameworks to really be able to impact very well. And that's how I think we're going to have some maximum impact. So I'm really so impressed having you in the program, and we're looking forward to doing everything to help you succeed in your career, to help you succeed in what you're trying to achieve out of the program. So we just have some 2 minutes of introduction from the others, and then get them. Then you just start, and then after that we move to. I'm sure Ivo has his mic adjusted. Move to different people, and just say your market, say where you're calling from, and then and that's it. And maybe the stage that you are in your project life cycle. Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Sorry, let me clear my voice. Good morning, everyone. I'm Theodora. I am based in Paris, France. I joined the program, was it December last year, I think, around, or January this year. My market is food, African food export. And the stage I am now, I signed my first deal like a little bit over a month ago. So I've been working with the client to deliver on the agreement, which is to accompany him in the like establishing the framework and then exportation of the container to the US, which is his market. So that is it about me. Pleasure to meet you, Reverend, and welcome to this our space. Over to you for please.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gadem. So Gadem is working in the food space, doing supplies in that space, and she closed her deal, and she's currently trying to see how the whole thing works. Cool. And then yeah, so Ivo. Oh, I think Ivo has a problem with his mic. Looks like it has not been resolved.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Hi, Pastor. Good morning. Nice to have you here, and yeah, quite some nice words from you there, and I'm very happy that you're really having some such positive approach towards the program. So, anyways, I'm Ivo Kubam. I'm currently based in Belgium, but I'm Cameroonian too. My market is currently I'm serving the intercity bus transportation industry. So that's my market. But also I think I just want to talk about choosing a market because it's very, very important, because there are certain characteristics that you need to have in place when choosing your market. If not, you find yourself pivoting like the way I did. So before that I was into serving AI companies here in Belgium. We tried, but it didn't really work. Not because we're not good, but because we did not really take the time to really choose the market. So I think choosing the market is important. We don't want you to start today and tomorrow you're pivoting. So I think Fabrice will really make sure that you choose the right market at the beginning. So in less than no time, you should get your first deal and get motivated. Yeah. So currently, like I said, my market is the intercity bus transportation, and my first client, we closed the deal, I think last year by November. Let's just say, effectively we started December, and now we are really making good progress with my client. And you might know, it's Oasis Travels, and we are
Yeah, so I think hopefully before the end of the month or next month we should get a second client. So I'll just say you're in the right place, and I believe that whatever you're going to choose, hopefully you start see the benefit of joining this program. I just wish you the best, and we are here to also support you.
Thank you very much, Ivor, for that encouraging words. So let's hear from Ate, and after that, Ghana.
Morning, everyone. Good morning, Reverend. So my name is Flora, and I currently work with travel abroad agencies. So I joined the program, let's say February this year, and since then, like I've been going through the same procedure that you went through, and one of the things that I would say I struggled with was to understand certain things in overview. And I think one of my latest breakthrough was when I went back last week to the drawing board to like understand very well like how things work and all those kind of things. And yeah, lately we were struggling to close like our first deal. We're struggling to close our first deal, but I think in this coming week we have this past week we have made a lot of progress, and I think I don't know what I share. Anyway, I think I recently just received a message this morning when I woke up from the lady I was struggling to close a deal with a couple of months back, and she was not responding to my message again. Like she just went mute. So I just left her, and when I woke up this morning, I saw her message, and yeah, she said we'll start with one project that she has, and we'll see how in the coming week we are going to have a meeting with her. And I think I also had another project this week. So that's it for me. And I work with EMAD. So we are both in the travel abroad space. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that introduction. Emma, just want to give a word and experience from your own end.
Well, good morning once more. Emad, and like Flora said earlier, I'm working with high travel abroad agencies. So when I joined the program, that was about early April, I came to realize that that's one of the challenges we have been facing when it comes to businesses, because we have a lot of graduates who are engineers as well, but they lack jobs. So I realized that this program was a perfect program because it was going to help us to come to realize the mistakes we make rather than looking for jobs, but looking for a means to create those jobs. And talking about my week experience, we met with some travel agencies, and one of the travel agencies I came across, I was able to write down some key aspects from the mistakes when it comes to pitching. Because if we want to pitch, we should be able to find or talk about things based on their perspective. And I realized that whoever asks more questions is in control or takes the lead. And whoever wants it more has no leverage. Because if you're going to talk to a client and you are the one, you're wanting the money more than the client wants the problem, then there's a possibility that you don't close a deal with that client. If you're over explaining things, if you're talking a lot it means you're confused, you're creating doubts, and you're causing the clients to ask questions about if what you're doing is actually true. And the last one is, if you say it, you're selling. But if the client says it, we are the ones closing. So that means the clients are the ones who do 90% of the talking. So I think that's one of the challenges I faced, and I was able to come up with the feedback when it comes to pitching. So that's something I'm working on, and I hope that by next week it should be a change with my pitching.
That's very insightful, Ghana. That's very insightful. I think by the time I'm going to share what I have to share, it's going to also really help you guys. So that's really insightful, and thanks for sharing that. You know. And then we'll finally hear from Bruno, and after that we.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Reverend.
Morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Digmo Bruno, and I have as niche real estate. I'm into real estate. My week is always busy. It's always. I had the privilege to be invited once again on our national TV, CLTV, to talk on the involvement of our local chiefs in land concession. Yeah, so I went there. It was successful, and I even got a post on it. I posted on social media, and I've been having contacts. So I just want to encourage ourselves, especially the newcomers, that it is a program that changes our mindset, changes the way we view market in the past. And now, even though in the beginning it's very challenging, but in the long run, as we are into it, we are seeing that the old approach we were using is not actually it, and this one is actually befitting, and it's the best. So yeah, that is it.
Bruno, I think you left out where you stand at like in the cycle. Like, are you still prospecting? Do you have a deal already? I think it's also something we had to touch base on.
I didn't get that.
I think you left out the part where we had to mention where we stand, whether you're still prospecting or if you've already closed the deal, or
Oh, okay. I think last week I closed the deal, even though it did not go like the first part of the money has been paid. Yeah, closed deals, and I have about 4 pending deals. The one I closed last week was 6 million, and I have about 220 million and 10 million plus the initial one that you put no, the 110. So they are still pending.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Good. That's cool. So yeah, as you all know, huge deals contracts, they take time. It's not nobody will just count 100 million and give you in one day. Nobody will count 20 million and give you. They go through some cycles, some long sales cycle length, and that have to understand. So thanks for that information, and I think Justin, so now you can understand the broad how everybody has one thing in common. We have a specific market, very specific market, because I think one of the things that it took the Reverend and I some time is for us to understand why we have to have a specific market, because it was like, if I take a specific market, I'll lose clients. And I've spoken to people and they tell me that no, I have to just make the thing very broad so that any contract that comes, I can be able to to take it. I think Ivor even shared me something within the week. I wish he could have shared it in the group as well. I'll gather the post and make it in the group about focus. That it's always difficult for founders. It's always very difficult for founders to niche down, to focus. But the most successful founders are actually those who have focused on one thing and they became famous for one thing. Like the whole thing, the title was famous for one thing, paid for it exceptionally well. Most founders fear narrowing down, but in today's world, it's how the best founders get rich. Yeah, it's counterintuitive. Like most founders really fear narrowing down, but the best founders are those that became rich. So but if you can copy the text, just copy the text and then share it in the group. It will be nice so that the others can read that very insightful post and all those things. She gave an example of somebody who was just supplying just as a cookies and another a couple of examples, which was very nice. So that's why focus is key. So we're going to hear a little bit from Leticia. I don't know how your week has been, if you were able to proceed with the modules. I wish you heard I wish you were there to hear what the Reverend said. He said that when he started with the modules, module 1 was a lot of knowledge, but when he got to module 2, he actually finished the foundational copy. He saw how everything was actually fitting together. I don't know, how was your week? How far have you been? Did you get up to the foundational copy? Have you started thinking about your market?
Good morning, everyone. I apologize first for coming late. I wasn't home. I just came in around past 6. My week was fine by God's grace. I didn't do significant progress this week because I was quite unstable. So I was thinking that, as I said last time, to be done with my module 2 and going for module 3, but I could not achieve that, to be sincere, this week. So that's in a nutshell how my week was regarding to this little bit.
Okay, that's fine. Some weeks get busy, which we do understand. We just encourage you to make some progress, and it's quite understandable. And some of these Saturday meetings too is also to keep us accountable, and so that we hope you'll be able to find some time to make some progress within the week. And okay, that's cool. So today, I would want, as I said last week, we are going to talk about the pipeline. How do you go about making closing deals? The pipeline is something that is. So I'm going to share my screen. You must have seen it in the video, if those who have gotten to level 3. But I'm going to just discuss it again. And we're going to discuss different application cases, because the way maybe Bruno will be applying it is different from the way we apply it in a different sector. But the whole thing, again, is grounded by this framework. So the first thing, under activation phase, there are a couple of things that happen under activation. So activation, there are like 2 key things that happen, which the eventual thing that we want to do is to get the contact details of those who are interested in your sales letter. I just didn't say get the code. There's a difference between getting a contact, those who are interested in your letter, and they will become leads. So what happens in activation? As the name implies, guys, we all saw that each and every one of us is going to have a 4-page document like this. For those who are new, I think when you get to module 4, just to highlight that as you're proceeding, guys, you will be some assets. You'll be seeing how your things are coming together. So at the end of module 4, we will all have something like this. When you've completed module 3, because this is what we call the outbound document. This is the first point of contact, what you use to talk about yourself, what you use to talk about your business, what you use to talk about the service that you offer. You not just go and say, I'm offering this, I'm helping you achieve this. No, you have to present. Maybe you're presenting to law firms, maybe you're presenting to wiring companies, you're trying to get wiring deals, you're trying to get energy deals, you're trying to get to commercialize a landed property and all that. You're trying to make supplies of foodstuffs. You're not just going to say, I actually do this. You have to be able to show some 4-page document. So finally, a land banking model that works for young Cameroonians. Simultaneously get a secure landed property directly from landowners, plus a business model from investment experts guaranteed to result in a profitable investment, even if you have no prior experience in real estate. So if you see, this is Bruno's 4-page document. Now, I'm going to show another example again. This is the case of Gadem in the food market. So finally, a supply chain model that works for US-based African distributors. It's targeting US-based African distributors. Import dry or frozen containers of in-demand African foods directly from Cameroon's best farmers without going through the headache of managing logistics. So again, it's the same framework, because we have a template that we share with every member of the team so that they can use it. And the good news is that we often, all these templates are available. So we're just going to give you, just plug in your own information there and you get going. Now, this is the first document that you use to share to people that you are prospecting for supplies. And those things happen at the activation stage. And the call to action, at the end of that document, what do you want people to do? You want people to do what we call book a call. So book a discovery call. Same thing here. You want people to book a call. When we talk of this discovery call, guys, it's something that it's a physical meeting or a virtual meeting for you to meet and let the person understand you well. So let me take an example. Let's say I'm selling my services to those who are exporting food. When I send them my 4-page document, I'm going to highlight them. You see, it comes with some professionalism. It's trying to differentiate you from all the different key people in the market. When you send them that document, the call to action is that book a discovery call. Let us understand your business. Now, I've talked about the outbound document and I've talked about the discovery call in this stage. Now, how does the discovery call look like? Think of it when you go and meet a medical doctor, guys. Remember what the doctor is an expert and you are a patient, you're sick. The only thing that the medical doctor does is to ask you questions. He doesn't try to imagine that you go to a doctor's office and you just enter and he says that, oh, we have quinine, we have paracetamol, we have drips, we have beds, we can admit you, we can give you injection, we can prescribe you medications. How do you feel like? You just enter a doctor's office and he's trying to prescribe you drugs. That's how a client will feel if the first discovery call, you're talking about the things that you can supply. You're talking about the services that you can offer. That's how he feels. The only thing a doctor does is ask questions. Okay, why are you here? At that time, the person has some context. Okay, I've been facing this problem with my business. I've been facing this problem with this. We are trying to get reliable. Okay. And there are a couple of questions. We call them discovery call questions, which along the line, I've shared them with you. Some people already have them. And these questions is to ask to make the person to talk. The first point of sale is when the clients start expressing themselves. Know that you're winning. If you can't get clients to talk, then you're not winning. So you ask technical questions that will show that you are an expert in that domain. And this is why you cannot be a generalist. This is why you cannot be supplying everything. because the choice of questions that you ask, it depends on the particular problem that you're solving. Because good consulting, guys, boils down to problem solving. That's what happens at the activation stage. Two things. First thing, your outbound document, I can share it on WhatsApp to the person that I'm targeting. So sometimes I gather a couple of contacts, I share it on WhatsApp. Maybe I have a friend that knows somebody, because that's how we always start. If Ivan knows somebody, I'll say, Bo, I beg, if you help me, give me contact this person or send the document for this person. That's how we start. Most of our first deals, we try to get them in-house and all that, because somebody here must know somebody that knows somebody in your market, or somebody in your network must know somebody that knows somebody that knows your market. And that's why I was actually talking to the Reverend that for the fact that you have Christians, you have a network, it's always a good thing, because you are going to leverage that network in a positive way. But nobody will give you a contract because you're a Reverend. They'll give you a contract because you're competent to deliver the aspect. So the aspect of being a reverend just comes in to actually just give some little bit of credibility that we are dealing with somebody that is trustworthy. So that's what happens in activation. You send you have to design an outbound document, and you have to conduct a discovery call. The discovery call is like running a lab test. It's like a diagnostic kit. If you have malaria, the person has answered some questions. At the end of discovery call, there are two things that you want to conclude. One, do you agree with me that you're sick? Because you are going to show the person that based on this question that you've answered, this is the problem that I think that you're facing. So based on these issues that you've answered about your investments, I feel that you're confused really choosing the right landed property and all those kind of things. Do you agree that you have these challenges? Now, if the person says yes, the person should agree. If the person does not agree to the problem, guys, all the other steps is a waste of time. Let me highlight this. If the person does not agree to the problem, all the other steps is a waste of time. And not everybody will agree. It's not a one. That's why you see sometimes the conversion is just 40%, sometimes 25%, because you discover that sometimes to close 2 deals, you have to reach out to maybe 10 people, 20 people to close 2 deals. And that's why it's high ticket consulting. It means that your deals go from 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, right up to even 8 million. We've had people closing these up to that because these are huge deals. Bruno is talking about deals that are getting up to 100 million, because these things actually take some time. Now, when the person has been sick, imagine now that the doctor has shown you that you're sick. What's the next thing in your mind? Doctor, how will we solve the problem? How will we solve the problem? That's the whole thing. Okay. The next thing is that we are going to schedule a deeper consultation call. I'm going to prepare, because I don't have the solution in my head. Me too, I have to go and try to research. When you do that, it's a psychological thing, because people that want to pay you huge amount of money, they don't expect that you should have everything figured out. They want that you should go take some 1 week to do the job and come back with them and present the solution to them. But within that 1 week that you'll be doing this thing, you have to keep them busy. You cannot just allow them like that. So that's why you say, okay, I'm going to take 1 week to prepare a solution. Please, can you schedule a time that you think that is comfortable for you, for me to come and present you the framework that I've designed? And by so doing, you give the person access to your sales letter. Then the person will be consuming it while waiting for the day that you are bringing the solution. The sales letter is warming up the person. The person gets warmed up, like, because the person reads about how you're talking about energy supply, how you're talking about food supply. The person is like, wow, this is really amazing. And then it's making it in a way that the person understands why you come and present the person a bill of 5 million, 10 million, 20 million on the day of the project. When the person goes through your sales letter, the person take some few pre-qualification questions. This is just to confirm that you are dealing with a decision maker. And why is this very important? Because it does not make sense. If I'm selling to a construction company, you want to sell to the boss. You want to sell to the decision maker, the person who is actually moving the needle. This discovery call, you can conduct it with anybody sometimes, but most of the times you want that when they are presenting the final project, the decision maker must be there. Otherwise, it does not make sense to come and talk to an employee, and at the end of the day, the employee can only tell you that, oh, I'll talk to my boss. No. If you cannot have that boss, then the person will not be able to pay you money. If you cannot have that boss on the call, then the boss has not yet understood the value of the problem that you're solving. Then you have to come back to the activation phase. Don't skip steps, guys. If you just head really and flow, what will happen is that you discover that you will not close this. Your closing rate can go up to even 50, 60%, depending on how you pre-qualify people in your pipeline. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less and closing more. Now you give the person access to a calendar, an automated calendar, or even you can share it manually. The person books a call, and then on the day of the proposal, you're presenting now the business case, how everything goes in there. Because 8 million francs, 2 million francs, 3 million francs, people are not paying you 2 million francs because you are just presenting a proposal. They are paying you 2 million francs because the service you're offering is going to bring them 20 million francs. You have to show the person that, okay, if you buy this land, then within 2-3 years, this is how much return you can make from it. That's why people are paying you this huge amount of money. Now, this is how the pipeline works. So guys, you have to master this pipeline to your fingertips very well. And all the steps, we have to go through it one by one. The most important steps, the steps pre-sales, pre-qualification, and demo booking, most of the time they are pretty much automated. And then the core is the activation stage and the closing stage. The closing stage is where you present the business case of your sales letter or your solution. That's, you are just talking now in terms of money. I mean, business case. That means you're not coming to say that I'll supply light bulb way get so, or I'll supply this way this. No, the business case. If you buy for the, let's say I'm supplying, guys, I'm supplying air conditioner. If you go to the market, there are air conditioners for 1 million, and there are air conditioners for maybe 130,000 francs. If you look at those differences, look at the power rating. You see that some air conditioners, they are energy efficient, meaning that if you buy that expensive one, you save with electricity cost. Some ones are cheap. You buy it, it is cheap, and then you'll be paying a lot of bills. Similarly with fridge, you can be supplying fridges. Some people will say, broken TV, broken fridge, then cheap. Might go buy fridge for broken. But broken, their power, just check their power rating. Those are fridges that have been rejected by the whites because of its high energy consumption. They ship it to containers here, and we are rushing to buy it because it is cheap. And when we bring it home, we spend more on electricity, we spend more on energy. You can buy a car that the car is cheap, and then you spend more on fuel consumption. We have people have said, that motor big, 4 million with that cheap motor. So, but you come now, fuel consumption is so high. So you want to present the business case for adopting that solution at the closing phase. So if this can be adapted in different ways. So let's say somebody is selling landed properties. This activation is probably the day that the person comes to want to go and check a land. So I'm going to go check land because maybe you've shared the outbound document and the person has come, I want to go see the different landed properties that you have. So your discovery call is maybe not a fit. Sometimes it can be an online call. Sometimes it can be the call that you guys are taking while you're going to do demo a land. And when you're going to demo a land, you're asking the person those intelligent questions. The person is like, now which kind of expert this way? You need to just go show me land. And I saw Big B making some posts this week, which I really love. He was saying that we are not just out to sell, we educate first of all our clients. We're not just, you must not invest with us. When you start taking that approach to want to say no, then you start taking a leadership role. If you look at Harvard, all these big institutions, to get admission into Harvard, to enter and pay a fees of 30 million is not easy. To get admission into Stanford, where you go and pay a fees of 30 million, is not easy. They position themselves as it's something that we work with very few people. We don't work with everybody. If you are not qualified, you are not qualified to actually go through the whole thing. So we work with very few people. When you position your business that way, you notice that clients will start chasing you to work with you. When you make a prospect know that you are pushing yourself to him, you are giving the prospect control. So your activation, you send the outbound document, the person comes, you guys are going to the field, you are chatting. He said, you have your questions. So tell me, when the person answers the questions, you say that based on this question that you ask, I think that these are the challenges that you're facing. The person should understand the problem, guys. Let's focus at the activation stage on discussing the problem, not discussing the solution. The error people make is that they go and they are discussing the solution. Don't discuss the solution, discuss the problem. Make people get emotional when they feel that you are concerned about them. I think when people come into your office to maybe consult, yesterday night we needed to have a meeting, and you said you were with a client that probably lost the father. And now I'm noticing most of the times they are coming to you because you empathize with them. You put yourself in their shoes, you're listening to their problems, you're hearing what they have to say and all those things. That is why they feel okay to come into your office and consult you. When you empathize with the person that lost the father, if let's say you were supplying coffins, at the end of the day, they will buy the coffin from you because they feel that the reverend will choose the better coffin for me. That no, they should do the coffin by here and all that. Because you empathize with the person. Please, that is why the way growth engineering is designed, we want to truly help. And for us to really succeed in helping our clients in our different markets, we must understand the problem that they are solving. And that is why you cannot be a generalist. You must spend time in a market. And guys, you don't need to necessarily have a background in that space. We believe that if you have a background, fine. Ivo and I finally discovered that background is the last thing for the criteria to choose a marketer. The most important thing is the market accessible. That means, do you find them around? If I turn around, I see travel agencies. I turn around, I see spas, I see beauty salons, I see construction sites. That means those are markets that are moving in my environment. But if I choose a market, let's say I'm choosing AI companies. If I turn around me, do I see AI companies? You don't see them so much. So it becomes a difficult market. You are already struggling because your market is limiting you. Now, when you've chosen this market, is money moving in the market, guys? Because see what is happening. Growth consultants or growth engineers, they go into a market and then what do? They capture money from the market. Imagine that you go into a market that market is transacting 100,000 francs. And you go into a market that market is transacting 100 million a day. Which of the market do you have a high chance of stealing money from it? You can steal money from a market that is transacting more money because liquidity is in the market. In financial terms, they say that market get liquidity. When there's liquidity, you can easily steal it. If we are in a particular parish that has no projects, we cannot, liquidity is not flowing. If we're in a parish that has projects, the chairman of the projects committee is happy, the chairman of the finance committee is happy because we have liquidity flow in that market. But if we're in a congregation that liquidity is not, projects are not going on there, it's difficult for contracts to flow and all that. So it's the same thing here. You want to choose a market that is actually moving. I was telling the travel abroad team that Boya, for example, has a lot of travel agencies and they could consider also looking at that space. So when you choose a market, it's very key. You want to spend time, understand the problem, understand the challenges that they are having in that market. And then when that is done, you can now be able to turn and design what we call discovery core questions. So that when you ask, of course, when you start, I'm going to help you guys with some core questions. When you ask these questions, they're going to be like, wow, this person really cares about my problem. He didn't sell me anything because 3 million, 4 million, 5 million franc sales, guys, it's not about the product. It's about the relationship that you build with the person. It's about the network that you create. And this good network starts by empathizing with the person. That's what happens in the activation stage. Your 4-page document just goes to give you some trust that, oh, this person is organized. Because people want to deal with people that are organized, give some positive impression about you. And then on your physical meeting, forget about what you're selling. Focus on the person's problem. If we are going to show a land, yeah, but I know you want something I can show you land, but I really want to understand, like, it not be about land and day. It's not about land, but I want move for understand something that I want to help you build relationship. When the person has accepted that I have this problem, guys, you are 70% into the deal. If the person cannot accept that the person has a problem, please don't begin to force, because closing rates become low because we force solution. We skip empathizing phase. And that's why I'm really iterating on this activation. If the person say, yes, I have the problem, and expressing themselves with the problem. I went to one office I shared with Ivo the other time to talk about a financial a simulation tool that I'm in the educational space. That's my market. And when I went to this guy's office, the guy kept me in his office for 3 hours, 30 minutes. A very busy man. When I got in, I presented myself and I started talking about the problem. When I said 1, 2, he took over the discussion. The problem was so passionate in the guy that the guy kept expressing that like nobody articulated the problem better than I did. He said that when you articulate the client's problem so well, he knows that you are in to help. You are in to help. And we were talking and agitating the problem. Guys, no solution. We're just agitating the problem. And now the guy was like, I really see what you're doing. I really understand the whole thing that you're doing. I really understand the whole thing that you're doing. If this if this problem can be solved, then I think that it will be a game changer for our institutions. I'll even communicate with the head in Italy so that we can disseminate it to all our 22 institutions in Africa, because an educational institution based in Italy and they have 22 branches. I left there, and then now the next step was for me to push them now to the next step of the pipeline. I was happy because activation stage was well done. So if one thing we are remembering here is that during the activation is to agitate the problem, and you and the prospect should really talk about the problem. Talk about why things fail. Talk about why people supply electrical equipment and then they end up failing. Talk about why people buy land and then they fail. Talk about why people struggle with their travel abroad agencies. These are success rates. Sometimes some clients will just come. Let me just take an example, guys. Travel abroad space. If I enter a travel abroad space, the key thing is that most of these people, their headache is what? People will give you money that I want to give me a visa. The next morning they ask you, say, how far? Just tell you, say, master, have you had to deal with some of these clients that they will just come, and because they have paid you money, they want that the visa should just be out the next day. The person will start saying, that's the whole thing. Or you have some people, they'll just give you money and then they'll be disturbing you that, when is my visa coming out? When is my visa coming out? Find angles, innovate. Find angles that you can poke the person to talk. The people express their pain when they feel that you've triggered it in a very nice way. Find angles to express it, and you build a warm relationship when you express it. That's one thing that we must learn about activation. When the person is activated and understands that the person has a problem, yeah, we have a way of dealing with this kind of students that will come and be disturbing you. Man will give you some money, ask and say how far my visa, and how. And then very soon they are talking to people on social media that this agency need to work. That's because you guys are helping with visa success rate. You're helping with structuring the internal operations, filtering, and all those things. The moment you agitate them here very well, that this meeting is not for showing anything, it's just for really going deep into your problems and seeing how we can really help you and all that. When the person says that, yes, if this problem can really be solved. So what do you think? How would, if the problem is, so what would you do for your business? Now, don't worry. I'm going to go and prepare a solution. I'm going to prepare a solution to help you solve this problem. But while I'm working on that solution, I'm preparing that project roadmap, while I'm designing the solution architecture, please go through. I'm going to give you some documents so that it will help you. All these problems we have spoken about here, it will help you clarify some more things. And when you finish working the document, looking at the document, please feel free to schedule an appointment at your convenient time within a week. By that time, I must have been finished with the document. So the person now comes and go through your sales letter. After that, the person will take some pre-qualification. Then the person will schedule a call and waiting for the due day where you're coming now with a proposal for 4 million, 5 million, 6 million. And we have a special way that we structure or call RFP. It's called RFP, Request for Proposals. So that's in a nutshell, guys, the psychology. Me, when I want to talk, I don't go so much into technology because I know that these things will be set up for you. If you don't know, these things will be configured for you. You just have to feel because all the pipeline is available for you. But to me, guys, this thing is also operated in physical. You have the physical pipeline available, but you as a person, you'll be meeting people, you need to understand the flow. You need to, because sometimes these steps are not linear as you're seeing. Somebody will just meet you, and book a call. Okay, you book a call, the person has booked a call to you, but the person has not gone through activation. You need to reactivate the person and say that, let's talk about your problem. We'll talk about your problem first and all those kind of things. So guys, if you do this, we can guarantee that activation, if somebody does not face the problem, guys, you don't force somebody now, you skip to another person. If you do this, you can guarantee that you have high closing rates at your level. That means if you send 4 proposals, you at least get 1 deal. So that's it for explaining the pipeline. And now we are open to questions, discussions, and all that. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Fabrice, for this. I think this is one thing that I faced, one challenge I faced. For example, when I go to talk to clients, and sometimes you need to understand like their problems, like you need to understand what they are going through first to emotionalize it and all those kind of things, rather than putting your solution out there first. You walk them through their challenges and all those kind of things. And so that's like a little bit where I was lacking. And when I sat again and had to study the whole thing back this week, I think I had that aspect in mind. So like this is very important, because this week I also had this same question that I wanted to come and ask in the group, like how do we, like, because we have not actually spoken about this. This is the first time we are speaking about this. So I had this question, that how do we like approach clients for the first time, because it's very important, because the first impression counts, and it's like first impression counts. And like, so I think this is one of the most important challenges I face, and like you've really broken the thing down to understand. So thank you.
That's great, guys. That's great. And remember, yes, Ghana.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, when it comes to this pitching and having a first encounter with your clients, first thing is you have your proposal. Is it that you are, do you first of all talk about the proposal like you're proposing something to them, or once you first encounter them and then you introduce yourself, you begin asking them questions?
So good question. So you don't talk about the proposal at the start. Your idea is that you're coming to do a partnership. You want to partner with them so that you can help them solve some of their challenges. And based on your working, because what I always do, I always do soft. You need to break people open and not make people know that you are selling them something. So what I will do is that I'll like, you see, I want to partner with you because I have a framework that is looking into this problem. Sometimes it thrills me how, people will just expect that some of you travel abroad agencies are magicians, or you are God that can just give them visas to some people who come. And so when you poke, you guys, of course, you must have prepared the program. So, but that's the starting statement. Like, I have a framework that I've been looking and researching into this problem and all that. And you present the problem, and then now you guys are discussing about it, and then that's how the thing flows from there. So it's a partnership, and you have a solution framework. You're not talking in the space too. That framework, because you are coming to a partnership on a problem that is of interest to you. We'll join interest because we are all interested in the same problem. So we have a common ground. We are interested in the same problem. So I'm not coming to talk about the proposal for whatsoever, because you want to break that thing. There's a difference between a consultant and a salesperson. Even though the way a consultant will sell is different from the way a salesperson will sell. A consultant sells by understanding the problem and asking questions. That's what a medical doctor is a salesperson, because he sits at the end of the day, he sell you drugs, sell you drips. But a salesperson is just coming, firing the product and the features, firing the product and the features. So you have a solution framework, and it is seen in your 4-page document, because he must have received that 4-page document. We don't talk, guys, we show. Mean that sending a document first. When the person is coming, you are now coming just to ask questions on the document. So this is, I'm here because we based on the framework you saw, we are interested in this problem, and we really want to partner with organizations who face this problem to see how we can work to be able to solve this problem and work it together. And then we start, this is open, is this something is of interest? Then now we now start going through the discovery call questions in a lively way, guys. Don't just begin to ask, and after that you have to make it lively, agitate, poke. I will not just ask a series of questions, then after that I show your score to you. I will like, each question I'm asking, I'm a little bit making it a little bit practical. And when the results are done, you guys go full in on discussing the results. Like, these things, make it be a very nice discussion. A discovery call well done, I've experienced it. I leave, the people are asking me, that proposal, now when you go send an offer, they start following you up for a proposal. I said, no, wait, I still work on top. They start following you up for a proposal. Why? Because you've done a very good discovery call. I've experienced it. Gadem can testify here. Like, I've experienced it, and the top will follow you for this proposal. When are you sending it? I left a discovery call. The person created a WhatsApp group and added me there and added the other team members. Like a client, a prospect created a WhatsApp group and added me inside after a discovery call. Because he felt like I talked about the problem better than any other person. So he who understands the problem better, he who can articulate the problem better than any other person in that market wins. Does that answer your question, Ghana?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So any other Justin, Leticia, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I really I am very, very impressed with the way you try to analyze the activation process. It's quite wonderful. So, but where I have an issue, like I wanted to ask is, I don't know, someone could have a very good, way of a very good idea. But again, the challenge now could be trying to balance your personality and the context, recipient context. Like, for example, we've always suffered from this inferiority complex, especially during pitching. Like you want to meet with somebody, book an appointment to go. Let me use about the term of understanding their problem, not selling your product and your features. Well, I think we have had some technical problems in that area. Like, for example, human beings, they have the tendency of being waylaid by a brand. For example, you want to meet, like, for example, when the moderator was about to host a moderator here, and I had to engage with some personalities in Kribi, to civil administrators, to see if they could come in, to support in one way or the other. So the first thing I did was that, okay, we have the city mayor and the bishop and some technical people, the director of Paul and some other people in charge of services. So there are people right over there. And what I did first was I had to brand myself. I branded myself. Okay, yeah, truly I'm a man of God, but I must be able to set standards in a way that I can easily go with those people, because they have a mindset. Like, if you come, imagine that you are on a bike. You come and you are like from a bike, and with your documents, you pass a very big jeep, you're entering somebody's office, and then you say, sir, please, I will wish to partner with you to try to. I'm sure that even the guards they will not even permit you to go in there. They might suspect you, probably you are a thief, or you want scammer, you want to come and so what I understand environment and the psychology of the people. And what I do, and then of school, I get to be like, wow, have you become the moderator of Quibi now? Oh, wow. So I make sure I get a very good car. So a very good car. And my driver, I'll get a driver. I don't have one. So I make sure I get someone, a Christian, with a very wonderful car. And then the Christian, I'll tell you, you are supposed to be my driver. Though you are the owner of this car, you are my driver. Do you get it? So I'll take the back seat, and then with my file, I even get a secretary for myself. I'm not holding no file at all. So my secretary is the one to handle this stuff. So I remember at some point when we got to the Sukapam company, so they had they had given a convocation to one of my chairpersons. They were embarking on the construction without permission. So they treat people anyhow. So I did so. So when I arrived at the scene, the environment was tense and they saw the way I came out. Wonderful. These people said, this one like this, they should be very careful. Oh, I'm sure that this other man is from Yaoundé. So I saw the big people now, they were humble and they received me now. They went, gave me a seat. Please, could you sit here? And I had taken over. I was now in charge. So when they began the introduction, I was calm. I was cool, very confident of myself. And whatever word I remember that I spoke, the people were so attentive, trying to get what would come out from my mouth, like it was a God that was to communicate. So why? Because I have brought in that kind of atmosphere of that energy of intimidation too. Because in diplomacy, you don't engage some diplomatic tendencies, especially in whatever thing you do. You know, you can have something good at hand, but people will look at it like it's just a piece of trash. So I went to the city mayor, it was the same. I went to the SDO, the bishop, the other people, the way they received me. Some will say, oh, please, would you mind if we share breakfast together? You know, and my driver, so I introduced, I say, oh, so I am the moderator representative for the Ocean Division. So I give different capacities, representative United Nations, parliamentary, this for this. And then now this is my driver. That's the owner of the car. The owner of the car. I say, yes, my driver and my secretary and all of that. I'm telling you, he said, welcome, sir. Welcome. So whatever proposals, I'm here for this and that. And so they are listening. He said, wow, 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 wow. At the end of the day, I mean, most of the places I went, even when the moderator came here, they have been all over the news. In the PCC, they have been discussing it all over the administrative channels of the PCC. And one Prioritized Secretary contacted me and said, wow, Bo, what you did in Kribi, the moderator has been wondering what happened, because the level of mobilization, they have never seen it before. And they say, okay, all other presbyteries should copy from that. How did it work out? It's because of branding, you know. I might have had something stupid, but branding myself, the people who believe in it, that this is something we need to trust and believe in. So just as I told our brother Fabrizi, you know, as he sent me out to do some technical findings on areas maybe I could possibly consider as far as the market. So I had gone about trying to, like, I came across the man in charge of urban development here. So I had some time with him, and he was now sharing, I mean, opening up to me how he has his projects and if he could do, you know, this is going to happen. And I tried to like do cartouche, but he didn't know I was trying to do some technical cartouche and to see if I would overthrow him in. And I'm telling you, some of these technical issues, sometimes you don't unveil the code like the professor said. You ask some technical questions, but you have what you want to get from those questions. So he was so excited sharing with me, but he didn't know that I have something bigger. And you see, I think that in a nutshell, you can have this but if you are feeling too inferior, you present yourself like one Okada man or some sort of somebody. You know, sometimes you have a small body like that, you go somewhere, somebody look at you like, this is one like this. Is it not those small boys around who are moving and they are causing confusion left and right? Sometimes you need to look calm, you look good, you know, present yourself like a diplomat. Present yourself, you know, like somebody that he doesn't work on the face of the earth. But it doesn't mean that you are not humble. those at that time they can listen to anything. Even if you say you should leak a bit of excrement and it is going to work well with you, they will do that with a lot of thanksgiving. They will thank you. Somebody will leak excrement and thank you for it, and for that their business should work. So in a nutshell, I'm just saying that I think in that area, maybe you could try to, don't know, to reconcile that part, because with all of these dynamics you're presenting, if we don't try to reconcile that with our personality and trying how, I think there is a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that deals with that. Your personality, your private and your public personality. So you don't bridge that. That's why you see people, they don't have, look at these scammers, for example. They don't have this background on these things we are doing here. But you see, scammers are striking deals of over millions. You are asking them, how do these people come about it? It's the way they present this matter. So they present themselves like the minister in charge of Lantenu in Cameroon. But there's one small boy like that in one little kitchen. So if we can sometimes try to reconcile that. But you are coming with a very big head, but you see, physically, somebody looks at you, you are disqualified. You will not be able to be permitted to enter an office at all. But you see, so in a nutshell, what I'm saying is we need to reconcile this with our portfolio and try to stabilize our mindsets and our public image, how we present. I enjoyed the brother who was on CRTV. If I had the possibility, maybe I would have followed him like on CRTV. But I'm sure that when he got on CRTV, I'm sure his physical presentation was so serious, and his mannerism was really composed. I don't think you go there, you talk over CRTV like you talk, on the platform of these local stations. It's quite different. Lastly, last Sunday I was at Simbok, so I'm chaplain for Temple Choir. So there was a rally. So I was just like, I comport myself. And now one lady came, one big woman, and said, "Wow, you are just behaving like one of my sons." And I said, "How?" Say, "I like the way you comport. You do your things in a way that," okay, just this kind of person. If you have to propose something to that person, will the person not listen to you? Yeah, sure. It is a leeway. The person will listen to you. But if I'm just a kind of a lousy kind of a person, you present yourself someone like wants to pick something, people will not trust in you. So that is my perspective. I thought maybe you could throw more light on this aspect.
Yeah, that's really excellent. It's really an excellent contribution. Really going deep and all that. I think you've already thrown there's so much light, and I'm happy that I'm even put this particular session is on record, because I think other students would really want to also benefit from these teachings and this practical experience that you're sharing. So I think, guys, we all heard what the contribution he has given. Presentation, the way you present yourself, it really matters a lot, because you don't just go. And I think we also mentioned the aspect of how you're talking about your proposal. Are you just going to just send some dirty piece of paper, or are you going to be presenting that? Because if you look at the scammer, they will present a shipping company. Talk about scammer, a shipping company. You go, they'll have a huge website, have this, because they are talking in huge sums. So how are you presenting? Are you not presenting anyhow? And he talked about Bruno. Let me explain. One thing I like about Bruno is that maybe he himself is not realizing he's building a very strong brand. I follow sometimes his posts on Facebook. He's building a very strong brand in the real estate space, B estates, because a lot of people are being kept in their conscious. Just wait, after some time, you notice a lot of people will be contacting you that I want to invest. You don't know how many people are seeing you going to CRTV, how many people are following the things you talk about. You're entering people's subconscious mind. You're building a very strong brand. And another thing is that sometimes the way you go present yourself, your first contact with somebody, you've left, and you people are having another meeting in 1 week's time. The person will be online researching about you. This person is coming to talk to us about this investment. What does the person share online? They'll be checking you online, they'll check you everywhere. Does this person have the capacity to be able to deliver on this kind of project that the person is promising us? That's why even after module 3, we are preparing you for what we call, you prepare your background check, because people will do background check on you to give you a 10 million francs contract. They'll not just give you because they want to know who are you, and both in the presentation and both in the technical competence. They want to be sure that you have a team, and that's why sometimes, guys, we come in to light up some people. Some people, yes, they are not. You are in a market that maybe you don't have a strong background there. We put 1 or 2 people in your team, so that when they are doing checks, they feel like, okay, this person has this engineering background, this person has this person has this, the person can be able to steer this project. So I think it's an excellent contribution that we've heard from the Reverend, and going really deep into understanding some of these practicalities. And that's why I always had this conviction that he just needs a little bit of boost from the technical part, because I know reverends are good in talking. Reverends have that credibility and they have a network. What they just need is substance, like an offer to go and really present. Then from there, things become really easy for them. So thank you very much for that contribution. I don't know if any other person has something to say on Reverend's contribution and all that.
Yeah, I think so. Reverend, thanks for that insight you shared, and I think it's very, very important, and also in light with that activation state, because the first impression really, really counts. Just also throw more light on that. You see, like, I'm based in Belgium, and I'm a consultant, and let me tell you, one of the things that if you are a consultant here, they do is they give you a very, very good car. That is the first thing they do. So if you're a consultant, they give you a very good car, because the impression is that if you're going to a client's office, or you're going to visit a client, or you're working for a client, that presentation really, really matters. They want to really package you, and I really agree to the fact that that aspect of packaging yourself really matters. It's not only at the level of the activation stage. Throughout your relationship with the client, you have to have that composure. You have to always present yourself, always put yourself in such a way that they understand you're a high-profile person. And we know that we have the content. And you said it, you can have the content, but if you don't present yourself well, they will just, anything you're saying, they'll dismiss that. So it's important that we know we have the content, we know we can provide the solution, but how do you present yourself really, really matters. And I think Rafi started by saying that we have this 5-page document, which is already a way for us to differentiate ourselves from the others, right? But again, the other things we can put in place, like you said, that presentation, which is also part of everything. I also want to add to what you said. I'm about to share a video I also landed on. I keep on sharing with Fabrice, but I don't share with others. It's that will help someone like you. I think Emma asked a question about how to pitch yourself. The way you introduce yourself really, really matters. And I like what Fabrice is saying. You want to focus on the problem you're solving, not that if you're introducing yourself, don't be listing the services you are offering. No, you have to focus on the problems, potential problems that the person will resonate and immediately start talking. For example, let me give an example of myself. If I'm presenting myself, I can say, okay, I'm Ivo Kubam. You have to, I partner with intercity bus agencies for transportation companies. So to help them solve problem number one, I've realized that a lot of companies invest in buying buses, but they'll find themselves with trips half full or no passengers. Or then sometimes they really invest and employees are really stealing. You see money is coming in, but you don't know where it's going out. You cannot account for it. So that aspect of theft. Then also maybe they don't know when to buy buses. They just buy buses when they're not ready to buy buses to open new branches. I think just having that to your goal, my goal is to partner with you to see how we can solve this problem. And I'm really working on a solution, on the framework which I believe we can, if I partner with you, we can solve this problem. So I'm not saying that I have a booking system. I do have a booking system. I know maybe one of the things I have to put in place a booking system, but we don't want to focus on the booking system. We want to focus on the problems first, which I think, Fabrice, the way you address that, the way you explain that is important, because sometimes I'm also tempted. I know I have a very good solution. I'm so motivated to talk about the solution. So we want to be able to start by focusing on the problems. Then that discovery call should be about them, not about you. Your solution will come, which is obviously in the later stage. So I just want to, Fabrice, very, very important. And I know, you can testify. You can testify that maybe your first few calls to you also messed up. I messed up a lot. We should not just think Fabrice is closing the calls right now, because that's how it has always been like that in the beginning. It's out of experience. I have messed up quite a lot. And so it's just an encouragement for the others. It's a learning process. It's a learning process. You mess up and don't feel like because you have lost a client, you don't have an opportunity. It's good to mess up now, because maybe the real thing is coming later. Mess up with the clients you're having, or with the prospects you're having now, so that when you meet the real one, you will close a better deal. And again, we're trying to reduce the rate of mess ups. That's why we're having this course. If not, we'll just allow you to be going and doing your thing. But we're trying to reduce the rate of mess ups, because we have messed up and we don't want you to mess up. Pastor just shared something very, very important. We all have, I believe here, degrees and other stuff. So if you are presenting to someone, they want to know, do you have the portfolio to solve this problem? Do you have the portfolio? Because I can talk about the problem. We all can talk about the problem, but sometimes they will ask themselves, do you have the portfolio to solve this problem? That's why you have to present yourself. Also, your degrees really matters a lot. Sometimes you can use your degree as a way to, elevate your portfolio. You can use the packaging, as what Pastor said. Everything you think will help you elevate your portfolio or make you look professional in front of the client. You can use it. You can use. Sometimes when we are presenting, Fabrice use me as part of the team. Sometimes when I'm presenting, I use Fabrice profile. When you're going, use other profiles. That these are the guys I'm working with. You can use Fabrice. Sometimes Fabrice, when you're going, you don't want to also tell people. Sometimes just the fact that you have a PhD, they're like, wow, this guy is he has taken time he has really gone to school to really study this thing. So if I'm talking to this guy or this partner or this person, it means quite a lot. So then lastly, I know Fabrice, you said there is that process of, we have seen the pipeline and we're expecting people to go through the pipeline, but I'm also happy that you said things will not probably happen sequentially. And when we say the person should book a call, we know these guys are busy. We're dealing with high profile guys, people that will probably want to spend 10 million with you. How much? They might not have the time to remember to go click and get an appointment. So sometimes you have to be proactive. You can ask, okay, sir, I will need 1 week to prepare for this, to prepare you a solution framework to come so that I can present to you. When do you think you'll be available? Sometimes just be proactive. Ask them when they think you try to get the meeting there, the time and everything in that first discovery call. They can tell you I'll be available in 1 week time at around 2 to 3 p.m. You set up the call. You go into the pipeline, already say, sir, madam, please give me your email address so that I can prepare you a document. You put everything there and you share them the link there. Don't tell them that, please go to my pipeline, you go and put your email and this stuff and those stuff. They will tell you, yes, I'll do it, but maybe the next minute as we leave, they are distracted. So before you leave, it's your responsibility to make sure they follow the structure of the pipeline. Put their emails, give them the link, set up the booking call so that they know their calendar is already booked. You should be in control of that process. Some people will do it automatically. Some people will just flow through the process, but majority of them, we know these are high profile guys. They will tell you they'll do it, then the next thing they will not do it. So these are some of the contributions I just want to add, and I really want to encourage others that, it's, at the beginning, it might not be easy, but the reason why you're here is that we want to guide you, and that's some of the things I just want to add to what I think Fabrice, you have really structured everything well. And Pastor, you mentioned something very, very important. It's called packaging. Simple. Let's just call it packaging. You all have your style. You have to know how to package. Thank you.
Great guys, great. I mean, I think the strength of success is a strong community, and that's why I told you guys that, you see, we will just give you guys some few modules to actually just format your mind and understand context, but the real value will come from these our 6 a.m. club or 5 a.m. club that we have every Saturday, because people share real life perspectives, certain things that I might not have mentioned in the modules. I don't share it, and all those kind of things. And I'm really happy for the insights that you guys have shared. And those who are still working, they have to continue going through the modules so that we get to the stage that we are talking deals, talking contracts, and all that. So we've taken about an hour 40 minutes now, so I would want to round it up. So I think, Reverend, we have to probably meet this weekend so that we go through the foundational copy. I don't know, maybe later in the evening. And then Leticia, please go through that. I think that we learn every day, and I mean, no one is an expert, guys. I'm just trying to share the level of knowledge I have so that it can empower we all to also get to a certain level, and then we continue learning from each other and actually growing. Please, the resources you have, you feel it can be useful to other people, share it in the group. We are all aware we have a growth engineering group. If you go into the group, you see resources there so that it can really help us. So I wish you guys a very nice day and a beautiful week ahead, and please keep pushing for I believe that everything is going to be fine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Fabrice. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Confirm.
Thanks.
Nice day.
Have a
Nice
nice
day.
weekend.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.